How's it going, everyone? Welcome to 5 Minute Factions series. We spend 5 minutes or less talking about factions, main mechanics, Zetas, Omicrons, team comps, mods, and 5 most common counters in 5v5 and 3v3 Grand Arena. Today, we're looking at the Mercenary faction, in particular, Baylan Skull's team. Main mechanics, and this is a super long kit. I encourage you to go read Baylan's kit. I compressed the team's mechanics as hard as I could. It's all built around the Soldier of Fortune mechanic that are going to stack up. You can vary its bonuses based on different stacks with different abilities. You can read that, when you go to cast the ability, say, 25 plus stacks, 35 plus stacks, 45 plus stacks, whatever. You see all these different things. It's got a built-in anti-fear that nukes Malgus or Darth Revan teams. And then in the GAC Omicron, if there's any non-GL Ahsoka enemies, that's like Commander Ahsoka Tano, Ahsoka Fulcrum, and, either of those, it just, boom. Team is gone, or baby Ahsoka in like a JMK team. It is just, the team becomes insane. That doesn't come into play often, but just also, defeated enemies cannot be revived, Merc allies cannot be insta-killed, and Baylan taunts with his own abilities as well as uniques, and then pseudo taunts via stealth from Shen. Vital Zetas for the team is going to be Baylan's Special 1, and that's going to be an AoE stun. That's on this ability. And then we've got Baylan Lead, which doubles the Soldier of Fortune stacks at the start of the battle, as well as adds taunting, more ways to gain stacks. We've got Marak Unique, which basically is more purge equals, sorry, not that unique, this unique, which is basically more purge equals more damage, and he is the main damage dealer of the team. Also has exposed, that kind of thing. Without this, I don't think you have enough damage to really be threatening for a lot of teams in the game. Good Zetas. Shin Unique, this unlocks the Clean Escape ability. And it lets her basically get Clean Escape, which is this cleansing special ability. Can also dispel debuffs from enemy team. Without it, the team has no cleanse, because I lost to this one time with Riva because she actually didn't have the Zeta on this ability. And so there was no cleansing, and so I didn't get any death mark, and I didn't notice it going in. But yeah, so that's what that Zeta does. Funnel anecdote there. Hondo, I'm going to talk about Hondo and Kira's abilities here. We're not going to touch on the rest, just to keep it somewhat contained to not go too out of control here. Hondo's special inflicts captive. Is this one? Sorry. This special inflicts captive, and then the other one is going to be his unique, which ramps while someone is captive. Those are both just good. They're fine. Certainly can get by without them, though. I would probably get the captive one, though, more than I would get the other one. All right, and then OK Zetas, we've got Baylan's Unique. Basically, it's extra stuff at the 45, 55, and 50 thresholds, and those just, to me, didn't seem great for a Zeta compared to the other Zetas we've looked at today. And then we've got the Kira Zeta, which is a small stat bump to the team, which then she shares half of those. Didn't seem super prevalent to me. Alright, so after Zetas, we'll take a look here at our Omicrons. Let me get that pulled up, shall I? Alright, so we've got Baylan Special, which is a good A-tier Omicron in my opinion. This is stun from this ability, lose 100% turn meter instead, which can't be evaded or resisted. Inflict armor shred on all enemies until the end of the battle. Whenever this ability is used, all mercenary allies gain speed. Alright, next Omicron here. We've got Baylan Lead, which is just good. And that's all of this good stuff. Gives us the anti-Ahsoka thing like I was talking about earlier, as well as adding healing immunity when people are getting bonus turns, or buff immunity when they're getting foresight, taunting, inflicting doubt, prevents revives, and is what gives you the instant kill immunity for the team. That is probably the most important Omicron here. Baylan Unique is okay. To me, this is like a C tier. It just adds extra goodies at that 45, 50, 55 threshold, and they're good effects, but I just don't know if you really have to have that to win the battle. And a lot of them are probably going to be decided pretty quickly with how hard Marak hits. Alright, then we've got one more GAC on me here. We've got the Hondo Unique. It's fine. It'll make him go basically first, but I just don't really know that it's worth it, because you're also only using Hondo in 5v5. So you're only going to be able to get use out of this half the time within this team, and you don't really care that much if he goes first, so I probably wouldn't sweat that one. TW, we've got the Shin. It's probably a good Omicron. The problem is that this team just doesn't have the juice outside of GAC. It really needs to be in Grand Arena. So in Territory Wars, you don't have as much hitting power, and so this one just isn't as great. It's a good TW on me, but the team still doesn't do a ton in Territory Wars. All right, then we've got Maroc here with his Masked Hunter. This is a Riva mission insta-win button. Also helps you win combat missions if you care about that. I need to pick up the pace a little bit here. Sorry, I'm running a little behind. This is a complicated team. Comp. The core is unchanged, ideal in 3v3 and 5v5, so it's just these last two slots. Most commonly, I see Hondo and Kira, but you can also throw in both aside Django, Dingar, Fennec. I've seen people throw in, Bad Batch Wrecker, the new Mercenary Bad Batch Wrecker. Just whatever you got is really fine. These last spots are not super relevant, although I think people traditionally consider these two to be the ideal. I would not go out of my way to gear Kira or Hondo specifically for this team. You will want Hondo for GL Hondo, but if you're just focused on let's get a Baylan team up and running, throw whatever mercenaries you have. When Relic Delta hits, if you've got both Sign of Django in here at Relic 9 for TB operations, throw him in there. That's a completely fine thing to do. All right, last but not least, we have our mods. Baylan is health speed with protection primaries everywhere. Shin on .gg is offense and health, or CC and CD, which is what I have. And that's going to be a crit damage primary triangle, offense primary cross, protection primary circle. Maroc is offense crit chance most commonly. I just use, he's just got what I have. It's very minimal difference. And then it's the same thing. CD offense protection there mod-wise. Hondo, speed, health, Kira, speed, crit chances is what I had for them as well. I didn't check into the both at Dingar or Fennec mods. Mods you have is probably fine. You can check .gg for those if you need to. All right, most common counters in 5v5. So this is the most seen counters, not the highest win rates. Jabba JML, Gungans, which is only 76%. Bane, LV clones. 3v3, Jabba JML, Seer, Super Aligned Force users. That's like Maliko's Starkiller, Riva, and Bane. Thank you so much. Sorry, this was a long one, and I'll see you in the next one.